welcome to the pre-match pint in association with London Pride. We're here in the London Pride brewery shop where Bees fans, get yourself down here because you get a 10% discount, which is why these lot are here. I didn't get them down here because they wanted to have a drink with me. They were just down here already having a pint, taking advantage. As you can see, joining me is Jonathan Douglas, Natalie Sawyer and the ambassador, Marcus Gale. Thanks for joining me, guys. Should say at this point, always remember to drink responsibly.
Hold on, the last person that should be giving any advice.
Hey, Manchester, I had to get these two out of a bar and get them home because I was the responsible one.
That's
anyway,
a lie, total lie.
Right, we would normally look back at the last game before we look forward, but it's actually a very special day, so I want to raise a glass to a very special man. Happy birthday, King Kev O'Connor.
Happy birthday.
40 today, unbelievably.
I believe you're just 40, but...
Oh, yeah. Right, on King Kev, today we've got two people that obviously played with him and two Brentford fans that love him very dear. What does Kevin O'Connor mean to us supporters, Natalie, if you can articulate it?
Just legend, you know, the word legend gets used quite a lot, doesn't it? But he really is a legend because he is someone that's just been at the club for forever, and to have played over 500 appearances as he did. He was the ultimate professional as well, like captain fantastic, you know, everything about him just you feel is Brentford. And yeah, as fans, we kind of grew up with him, watching him and watching his career flourish as it did for us. So yeah, as I say, the word legend is the first word that comes to my mind when talking of Kevin O'Connor.
And Marcus, you played with Kev kind of when he was almost finding his position. Well, I still actually would quite like to know where people think his best position was, because obviously he started as a striker. Marcus, when you played with him under Martin Allen, he'd just been moved to right back. What were your memories of playing with Kev?
So committed, very loyal to the club, as we all know. Ultimate professional, Natalie's already said that. He was one of those that always done the extras, wasn't told to do them, but wanted to improve. And I think that set him apart from everybody else at the club at that time, because of his dedication.
And Jonathan, when you played with him, he was skipper at the club, and you kind of took the armband a few times off him when he was injured, then ended up taking the armband long term from him. What was he like as a skipper?
He was very welcoming when I first signed. Obviously I played against him. I knew that he was in and around the Irish squads as well when he was younger. So I knew of Kev before I came here, but as soon as I came here, he was, welcomed everybody with open arms and made sure that we all felt welcome, and if we ever needed anything, we could always go to him, because obviously he's been around this area for a long time. So for me coming, down from Swindon, it was great to have somebody like him.
I mentioned it there about kind of what his best position was. Where do you guys think he was at his best? For me, I thought the obvious one is being right back in centre mid. Surely, I did like him in central midfield. Natalie?
Oh, do you know what? He is one of those that you knew whatever role he was given, he would just be 100% committed. So I find it quite difficult to think where his best role would be. I mean, I sort of think more defensive, but that's because his career naturally went back that way. But like I say, I just think he was one of those. Like you say, he started out as a striker, so you could have put him in any position really, pretty much on the pitch, and he would have delivered for you. So picking his best position, I don't know. These two play with him; they'll know better than me, maybe.
I would stick him at right back, based on his delivery and the consistency. He knew what he was going to get. Not to say he couldn't go into midfield, because he did during my time as well, but I just felt more comfortable with him at right back, knowing that he's going to get up the field, he's going to deliver the ball that you need. He can lead from that position, I think even better than central midfield, because you're taking on a lot of information around people. But I think at right back, he knows how good he is in that position, and he can inspire the rest of the team from there.
You would have played alongside him in centre midfield, sure.
Yeah, a little bit, but I think back then it would have been a lot easier coming to the end of his career. Whenever I was there, we played three, so maybe if he was a holding midfielder. So back in the day, we just played with two, because I played against him, and it was just me basically up against him, and I knew it was going to be a tough game. As Marcus says, as a right back, you need people at defence that you can depend upon and who can lead from good example and be a good talker and stuff, and that was Kev.
From a fan's point of view now, Natalie, seeing him involved with the first team still, how big is that?
It's massive, isn't it? Because he's someone that gets the club and has got the club for a very long time. So what I like about him as well is don't get me wrong, there's a feisty side to him. You can sort of every now and then see it when he's when he used to sit on the bench, let's say. But I quite like that he's sort of quietly behind the scenes and going about his business and kind of being Kevin O'Connor, because that's how I always saw him. You know, as I say, the ultimate professional, but I didn't feel as though he ever really got involved in massive skirmishes and stuff like that. So, I mean, to have him as part of our coaching setup is a dream, because he's our Kevin O'Connor at the end of the day. So it's lovely to see him still very much involved in the club.
Right, let's move on to Newcastle, the first of 3 huge games, shall we say. We can't underplay the importance of these games coming, Natalie.
Oh gosh, no. With our form as it has been of late, and looking at the form of the teams that we are playing, it's a little bit concerning, but there's no doubt Newcastle are going to come into this game full of confidence, and so they should, because they have really turned their season around. But from a Brentford perspective, wow, it'd be great to put a blow to that form and get a win, and a win that I think would then give us huge confidence to go forward for the rest of the season.
So is that what it is, Marcus? It's an opportunity here to turn that form around in 3 games that, look, let's get it right. If they were Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea, you'd be dreading the next 3 fixtures. But it is an opportunity that we can end the tricky run of results we've had.
Oh yeah, of course. You know, we're playing at home, which helps massively with our fans. Will get behind us. The boys know what they need to do. They know what's at hand. They know that we've got to try and stay unbeaten through this phase of games as well. That would be vitally important. And if we can pick up those wins, then even better. But you know, the squad will recover from this as well. Don't forget, every game we're learning about the Premier League and how ferocious it is. And the slightest little error ends up as a goal. And the boys are just learning how to deal with that each and every game. But at the same time, this is a massive game that, you know, we can look forward to it with confidence. There's players getting fit and fitter, and that will help us.
Jonathan, as a skipper, what would you be saying in that last huddle on the pitch?
Just try and enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity to, you know, to keep Newcastle, you know, below you. And even the 2 games after that, you know, it's an opportunity to keep those teams, you know, chasing you basically. So you'd be going in just saying enjoy it, and you know, just embrace it really. You know what I mean? You're in the Premier League. We're here for a reason. We worked hard last season to get here, so this is why we want to be in this league. So just basically enjoy it.
I'm ready to go now. I'm ready to go. I'm having this and I'm off. Looking at the game, obviously we're doing this on a Thursday morning, believe it or not. It's a bit early for these. So the team news isn't out. Really, we don't know a lot, but obviously Eddie Howe threw a few kind of red herrings in his presser last week anyway with St Maximin. Obviously from our point of view, we'll be hoping that Ivan is able to be involved in some way. Having played 80 minutes on Monday, same with Christian Eriksen, hopefully he'll be involved on Saturday in some way. But then from their point of view, they had Ryan Fraser went off. Oh, and sorry, obviously Matthias Jensen, who went off against Arsenal. Hopefully he'll be fit enough to play. From Newcastle's point of view, we know that Trippier's pretty much out. It's kind of been said. And then St Maximin and Fraser, who they're kind of sweating on. Out of those players mentioned there, who will be the most important for either team to get back on the pitch, Natalie?
Well, obviously, I think from our point of view, it's Ivan Toney. We want to see him playing. Certainly, I would love to see him in the line. I just think he brings, especially if you've got Josh Da Silva in that lineup, and you might be able to bring Christian Eriksen in. We talked about it before when Christian Eriksen signed, and we said about the change of the midfield and how you might have Da Silva and Eriksen in there, which would then mean that Toney doesn't have to drop as deep as he's had to do recently, and that might mean a little tweak then to how he plays, which will benefit him because he doesn't want to be necessarily dropping deep. He wants to be scoring goals ultimately. So if you're dropping deep, you can't be in the box to score the goals. So, for me, to have Toney in there obviously brings a bit of physicality as well, which will help when you've got some of the big defenders like Dan Burn in that Newcastle side. So I think he's just been a big miss, and it was also because he's just a talisman as well. And I think he, someone like a Brian Mbeumo probably gets a lot of confidence by playing alongside him. So, yeah, for me, it's having Ivan Toney back is massive.
And we discussed this last week about Christian Eriksen and if he should be involved last week. So I'll throw this to someone else now. Having played 80 minutes on Monday, do you think it's too early to start him?
No, it's not too early now. I think.
No.
I think needs must. You need to get him in. Even if he plays 60 minutes and gives you a good 60 minutes, then, especially as you mentioned, Jensen being injured, potentially been injured after coming off against Arsenal. I just think you just play him in the 10 role behind the 2 boys up front and just get him on the ball and give everybody a lift in the crowd as well. If they see that Christian Eriksen's starting, and it gives them a little bit of buzz, and hopefully will carry the team forward.
Yeah. We saw on Monday our 2 goals came from 2 deliveries from him, 2 set pieces. Marcus, how big could that be? We saw last night Burnley beating Spurs from a set piece. How huge will that be?
A massive boost, because the players that are arriving in that box, they know the quality of the ball that's coming in. It's going to be right on the money. All you've got to do is just put that desire to get onto the end of it, and more than likely you're going to get a goal. So that's a huge plus point if we can get him in the side or on the pitch to show us that.
It's not just on the pitch, is it? Because we saw against Palace when he came out before the game. I've never seen so many people in that early, and the response was incredible. The atmosphere was unbelievable. We've already seen the song. Have you guys seen it? The kind of adaptation of the Mario Balotelli song, if you've not seen it. So we've got to get that going again on Saturday, and because atmosphere's going to be huge, isn't it, for these games? Because we know Newcastle, when we played them in the Championship, they travel so well, they sing. With a game of this importance as well, how big will the crowd be, Jonathan?
You just got to look at the home games that Brentford have already had this season, like Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool. Once the crowd get behind the team perform on the pitch. You know what I mean? And I think it is vital that the crowd do stay with them. And again, but that's down to the players as well to keep the crowd with them. And the longer they can do that, the better.
But I think that's one thing, in a way, Brentford fans are pretty good at sort of getting that atmosphere going again, because when we're playing against adversity, like you go back to that Bournemouth playoff semi-final second leg at Brentford, we were already a goal down, then we were a goal down again in the second leg. You feel there's a moment where you're thinking, this is already gone, we're already out, and yet it wasn't even a full capacity, and that atmosphere whipped up and it just didn't stop. And that's, I think, something that Brentford fans are pretty good. When we know we really need the crowd, and I know we should always want the crowd to be there and providing an atmosphere, but I sometimes think when we're against it, that's when the fans do come up and come up trumps normally.
So that's we've got to get that. It's intensity, isn't it? And that, as players, Marcus, do you feed off that intensity on the pitch?
That's that energy that inspires you. You get the extra 10 yards out of you, or of a player, when the crowd is so hyped like that. It does have a massive importance on everybody out there, but it's reciprocal as well.
Yeah.
The fans want something to really bite onto and hold onto for the duration of the match. I think the last time out, I think the players, they showed the determination. The crowd were with them. Saturday's game is going to be just the same. It's going to have a bit more because we're getting to the back end of the season. Pressures are piling on, but these players, they're prepared to face that sort of pressure and deal with it. As Jonathan said, embrace it.
Embrace it, enjoy it, get behind the lads. I know you will do. And that's it for today again. Before we go, I think it would just be nice, because I want you guys to comment this below. What is your favourite Kevin O'Connor moment? Have you guys got any that you can think? For me, I think it's hard. Every time he's lifted a trophy, for me, probably. Or the goal against Wrexham. Maybe you've got one off the pitch. Or maybe we can't.
Maybe that penalty against Swindon.
Yeah, because that was huge to get us. Yeah, especially what had happened the week before. Well, look, I should maybe have prepped the guys on that, shouldn't I? Really, you guys have got the prep from me now, so make sure you comment below, and also, of course, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks again for joining me, and I think just one last time. Here's to Kevin O'Connor. Really, happy birthday, Kev.